Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to my live. My voice just kind of cracked on there. How are you doing, Facebook? And I'm going to upload this on YouTube. I already know that. So hello, YouTube. I am so excited to bring this transmission. I've been in a restorative phase for about a couple of weeks, and I'm excited to come back on here and go live and share all my knowledge, my wisdom, channel through information and transmissions that is going to help you in your relationships and you as a woman. So I just want to show you this super cute chair that I bought. Let me show you how stinking cute. Like there's like it's kind of like a 60s vibe. Like over here, it's like there's like a little like hole in the butt. Anyways, look at the flowers that babe got me right there. And he also made that chair right there. Flip. Okay, there we go. I just wanted to share that because I bought this chair. I was so excited. Like I need a new office chair. And when I went to Home Goods, you know when certain things just like speak to you and you're like, oh my God, yes, I need that. That was this chair. And normally I sit on the beanbag chair that you see, but I was like, I need to sit on this chair. And this is a lot more comfortable anyways too. So hello, Mipijet de Wheat. Did I say that right? How are you? Thank you for joining live. Okay, so if you don't know who I am, my name is Jessica Lozano, and I am a woman's empowerment coach, helping women call in their divine partnership by reclaiming who you really are as a woman. In my experience, I have found when you do that, you will attract the partner that is your divine man. Sometimes you gotta kiss some toads in the middle of yourself, figuring out who you really are as a woman. It happens. I had to do that in order to discover who I really am. But once I discovered that, he came in. Like, Ron was like my gift from God, is how I like to say it. And I know it was because of the codes that I'm going to share with you within the next 6 transmissions, starting today with the first one. Mapaya? Did I say that right? They come within days. So they won't be like exact consecutive days. I don't believe. That's not the energy that I feel. It's going to be kind of like when I'm ready, when my feminine intuition is like, yes. When my sacral is like, okay, yes, this is when it's going to be. And usually I give you like 24 hours notice, and you can always catch the replays anyways if you can't join live. When you have found you, who you are, the men find you. Exactly. You become just like a magnet. Now, everyone's story is going to be different. You know, everyone's journey and to find their divine partner is going to be different. And it's always going to be unique to you. But the most important thing is that being that sovereign woman that can hold a sovereign relationship. And that's what I believe where we're heading to in this new paradigm that we're moving towards. Because the old way of doing things is like you were with a man and like there was like this need, this codependency between each other, right? And I personally believe that's why one of the reasons, not all, one of the reasons why marriages lasted so long. It's almost like you married someone for need, not always for love. And when there was problems, because back then there wasn't a lot of therapy, there wasn't a lot of mindset coaches, there wasn't a lot of everything that you see now. Therapy was kind of seen bad, right? It was kind of seen like, oh, only if you have really bad psychological problems you go. There wasn't such thing as couples counseling. And even now, have we gotten deeper in the spiritual world with more of like inner child healing, trauma healing, and really calibrating up to the person that you want to be, like your future self and your future relationship. And back then, I do believe that a lot of marriages stay together, not because they really were sovereign. Like women especially didn't feel safe to be on their own, because not until when? This 50s did we start working, right? So there's like these dynamics that have been breaking free. And I truly believe that this is one of the reasons why there are a lot of divorces happening. I don't think that it's just because we've just gone wild or anything like that. I just believe that we, men and women, especially women, because we are the leaders here, we are the one that are setting the tone for this new paradigm with relationships, with how we want to live our lives, this more free, liberated way of being in all areas: money, career, your body, lifestyle, love, friends, family. We are leading it, and we are stepping up, and we are saying, no, I don't want to be with you, and I don't have to be with you anymore. Right? So it was rocky. It's been very rocky. There are a lot of divorces, and the divorce rates are high. And I believe there's other reasons for that. But I'm going to focus on what the topic of sovereignty and why I feel that this is such an important topic. And if you really want to have that sovereign relationship where you just feel like you both are expanding and growing together, and it's like you do your thing and he does your thing, and you come together, and your relationship just feels like magic, and you're like, oh my God, I feel so good, and it just keeps getting better. I believe these are the keys. These are the codes. So today I'm going to start off with the first transmission and just really getting clear on what sovereignty is, the opposite of that, and then the biggest thing, which is the outsourcing and the self-sourcing. Like, that is huge. So of course, if you have any questions, feel free to pop on in there and ask them away. I'm seeing the comments right now, but if I don't see it while I'm live, I'll go back and answer them, because that has happened before. Okay. So, sovereignty. First off, if you're here, that means this word is really catching you, because this is not a word that you hear very often. You hear freedom, you hear maybe liberated, you hear expanded, you hear all these different words, but sovereign and sovereignty, it's not a word that we often hear. Like, at least not even for me in my world, where I am surrounded by a bunch of women who are empowerment coaches, like women who have high level businesses, women who have like amazing relationships, and like in the spiritual self-development world, I don't even hear sovereign or sovereignty a lot. And that's for a reason, I believe, because it's a very, very unique way of living. And I think the women who are in this world are embodying that, but I hear it all the time. You do? Oh, okay. Then maybe that's a good thing, because first, for me, I was hearing it and for a little while, like in books and then like in podcasts, and I'm like, this word, what is this word? Like, I really need to, like, it's something about it that's calling me forward to like learn more about it. And that was actually recently, like 2 years ago, that I started hearing this word. And once I learned what it was, I'm like, oh my God, this is what I've been doing this whole time. This is what I did in my previous relationship that I was holding on to so strong that I needed to have autonomy and know who I am in order for me to break free from that. I was becoming a sovereign woman. That's what was happening. So if you hear it all the time, that's really good then. Actually, as I know that whenever I hear a word a lot, it's because that word is really calling me to embody more of that or to step into that. So that's beautiful. You are attracting it. Yes. Okay, so sovereignty, when I looked it up 2 years ago, it said when you are self-governed. That's what it said 2 years ago. It even used an example of like a country. It said like Korea it needs to be more sovereign with somebody else or something like that. I can't remember. So when I was going to do this transmission, I was like, let me look it up and see if what I remember is correct. Let me see what comes up. So this time it said something different, but pretty much the same, which is freedom from external control. Freedom from external control. Sovereignty. And control can be anything. It could be a person. Like for me, it was my ex. He was a controlling, manipulative, narcissistic man. And he definitely was always trying to control me, and I allowed him to control me. You can also have control with other things besides just a man or a person or someone in authority. It could also be a dream that you have that, let's say, is maybe more of an ego dream, like that I like to call it. For example, when I was 8 years old, I remember 8. I don't know. I'm pretty sure I was 8 years old, or maybe I was just little. I know I was really little, still in elementary school. And I was like, when I grow up, I want to be married. I want to have 5 kids, and I want to have 8 dogs. And I want to live in a big yard, have a big house, and have a husband, obviously, and he takes care of everything. And that was like this dream that I had at like so little. I just remember like, this is what I want. But I attached it to a timeline. And if I didn't have this, then I wasn't a woman. 22, I was going to find the man that I was going to marry. 24, we were going to get married. 26, I was going to have my first baby, and so on and so forth, because I wanted to be a young mom. Like my mom is a young mom. We are only 19 years apart. So I love the fact that we have like this close relationship, So like I really wanted that for me and my kids. So that dream controlled me. It is one of the many factors of why I stayed with this man, because in my mind, I needed to get married. I needed to have children by a certain age. If I didn't get married by a certain age, if I didn't have the white picket fence by a certain time, then I was ruined goods. I didn't believe in my own power to be a financial provider for myself. I really wanted someone else. I really wanted a man. I believed at the time that men held that code of money and women didn't. I'm like, men have it so much easier. Let them take care of it. I'll take care of this. The funny thing is, I've realized, like, obviously I've let go of that dream. But now I realize, like, there's no way I could just be a housewife and just take care of kids. Like, I would be bored out of my mind. Because there was a moment here when I moved up that I was kind of like in between. Like, I didn't know what I was going to do. And I was kind of living like the housewife role. I'm like, this is so boring. There's no freaking way. There's no way. So it's funny how I had that dream and I thought that's what I really wanted. Even when I had like a small window of that taste, I was like, nope, that's not for me. But anyways, this dream controlled me. It really did. It's one of the things that I just kept holding on to. I remember in a breath work session, the instructor came to me and she's like, what are you holding on to? She's like, there's something you're holding on to. And I have to say that or else I get sick. If I don't speak what's coming through this channel, she's like, I get sick. And in my mind, I couldn't even verbalize it at the time, but I remember like I was there breathing on the mat, crying. And in my mind, I was like, because he's my ticket. He's my ticket. So this dream, this ego dream was controlling me. I was not sovereign with my own soul's desires for what I really wanted. This ego dream was just like taking over. And I remember so vividly when I let that go. And that was one of the things that I unlocked within myself, literally, because my body physically felt off after that because I was releasing something that I was holding onto so tightly that my body just had like a emotional release dump. It wasn't crying or anything like that. I just felt almost like, it was so weird. I felt almost weak, but it wasn't that. It was releasing and I was like just recalibrating up. So freedom from external control. So the control can be a person. It could be something like a dream. It can be your limiting beliefs. It could be a certain archetype that you believe a woman should be. Like the very common one is like the good girl, right? You be a good girl. You say the right things out. You don't show any emotions, just enough to show that you're emotional and you're feminine, but not too much. And, be the good housewife or be the good wife, make sure that your priorities are to have kids if you're going to get married. And, when you get married, everyone's, you know what I mean? So like, there's this good girl archetype that you maybe have fallen into that you believe. is what you need, and that could be controlling you, could be controlling your full sovereign expression. It could also be things like food and alcohol, and which therefore we would call addiction, but not everybody has the same level of addiction, right? It could be power. It could be recognition. It could be buying clothes. There's so many different ways that we can attach and have things that control us. Things have control over us. If we don't do certain things for whatever reason, when I don't feel good, I need to have this outside thing, you know, food. For me, for example, I had binge eating disorder. Food had control over me. I was not sovereign over food at all. And my body image, right? So food had a control over me. When I felt a certain way, I needed to have that fix. I didn't know that it was safe for me to just cry, for me to yell inside my pillow, for me to, you know, write a letter, like an angry letter, never release it, but write an angry letter for myself, and that I would be okay, and that would release all the trauma and all the pain and all the discomfort that I was feeling, right? I didn't know that at the time, so I thought that food was the way to go. And then after I healed that, I wasn't done yet. Then I called in this man to control me, because I literally wrote that on a piece of paper. Beliefs and behaviors. Yeah, exactly. So beliefs and behaviors could be controlling you. Your limiting beliefs, trauma, past trauma, and all of that. So the opposite of sovereignty is codependency. Because to me, the way I like to phrase sovereignty in a relationship is when you really are liberated from codependency. So codependency, I also looked this word up because I wanted to make sure I have my, you know, technicalities done. I'm going to read you the definition. A psychological condition or a relationship in which a person manifesting, literally it says that, manifesting in the Webster's dictionary, low self-esteem and a strong desire for approval. A person manifesting low self-esteem and a strong desire for approval and has a healthy unattachment to another. Now, I never connected with the word codependency when like people who are codependent, like I never resonated with that for a really long time. And because I thought that codependent is someone that is literally jumping from relationship to relationship. Like before they finished one, they've already started another. Like I thought that was like a codependent, like literally their whole life they're in a relationship. And that really wasn't me. I've had little boyfriends like a month, 2 months, you know, all that stupid things in like high school or whatever. Until I was 22 that I really had my first serious 6-year relationship. Before that was the longest before, which was 8 months when I was like 20, 21. My ex was the longest I've been with so far. Hey, Sheila. Thank you for joining. So I was like, I'm not codependent. Like, that's just not who I am. But when I read this, I'm like, abso-fucking-lutely, this is who I was. I was seeking, the reason why I allowed this person to control me because I was codependent on him. I was seeking approval from him, seeking him to tell me I was good enough, seeking from him to tell me I was worthy, seeking from him to tell me that I'm beautiful, that I'm this, that I'm that, whatever it is, seeking from him to fulfill my dream, my ticket, my love, my soothing. And when I was feeling bad, you come soothe me. When I was angry, you come calm me down, which that never happened. That just ended up. I need to alchemize something. You help me alchemize this. Approval. All I was seeking for was approval. I bent over backwards for this man. And codependency is the same thing as I was mentioning before. Something like if you are in, you can have codependency with food and alcohol and drugs, which actually that's what they put in the Webster. They put like parentheses, like it's usually someone who's drug or alcohol addiction or something like that. And I was like, yeah, this goes way beyond. We're just so used to seeing the exaggerated version of it that they don't talk about the in-betweens. Like there's different grades of codependency, right? There's different grades of like addiction. You have people who binge drink on a weekend, and then you have someone who needs to have a beer or wine or a cocktail once a day. Or you can go for a little while and then you just go drinking again, right? So there's different levels of codependency. And codependency to me is also a way of attaching to outsourcing to something. Codependency to me is outsourcing to something for whatever it is. So for, in this case, this definition, like for seeking approval. But codependency could also be just outsourcing when you don't feel you don't feel good about something, right? So let's go back to the binge eating disorder. I was angry. My dad would be my biggest trigger. Whenever I was around my dad, he just, his presence alone would make my whole body like shake inside. And I'd be like, I need to go grab a muffin. I need to eat something, right? So that is codependent to food, right? I don't feel good. I feel anxious. I feel nervous. I feel angry. Let me go grab a muffin to calm my nervous system down. It could be shopping, right? You are not feeling good about yourself and you're just going to go shopping, but not in the way that it is like the healthy way, but more of the way of like, I need to buy a lot of things, probably getting yourself into debt or just always continuously spending your money because you don't feel good, right? So you're trying to soothe yourself, like shopping addiction, right? So there's different ways that codependency shows up. And when I looked at it that way, I was like, oh my God, yeah, I was totally like from 6 to about 12 years old, I was like addicted to gymnastics because that was my escape. It was something that I got a lot of approval from. I was really good at it. I got like gold like all the time, right? So that was my addiction. Then like going party and hanging out, staying out really late, then that became addiction. And then food became my addiction. And then the partner. So I was codependent in different ways. It froze. Can you guys see me now? Let me know. Let me know, please. I should take this off. It's like, this thing always dies so fast. I need like a better one. But I didn't really charge it enough time. Yes. Okay, good. So there's different grades of like codependency, right? And there's different ways that it manifests, as it said. I really can't believe that it said manifest. When someone with a person manifesting low self-esteem, isn't that crazy? I think that's like crazy that it said that word, because that just shows that we are always co-creating our own reality and we have the power to change whatever situation that we are in that we are not happy with. I 1,000% believe in that, or else I wouldn't be here. I would not have had the strength to be like, there's something more than this. Like this relationship, there has to be something more. Like, what if I can make this relationship turn out to be what I really want it to be, which is what I kind of always held on to, and it almost did. We got engaged. And then eventually I realized that it's just the same thing, same pig with different lipstick. Every single fight was the same pig with different lipstick controlling me at some way. He just always trying to like make me be the person that he wanted me to be. I'm like, no, let me be sovereign. Let me be me. And I have the right to be me. And you have the right to be you. So let's talk about self-sourcing and outsourcing, because this is huge. This is the root of codependency, I believe. This is the root of codependency, and this is the root of of the opposite of sovereignty, which is codependency. But so this is the route to start awakening your sovereign divinity. Outsourcing versus self-sourcing. So as I mentioned, with a man, when you're codependent on a man, you are sourcing everything to him or your partner. You're outsourcing everything to him, like your power, your worth, your love, your security, your safety. I don't know what to do. You tell me what to do. I don't feel safe. Tell me, show me that, like, make me feel safe. I want to feel loved. Tell me how you want me to love you, even though it probably doesn't align with me. And I feel really weird for you telling me how that I will only be good enough or lovable if I do these certain things. But I'm so craving for your approval that I'm going to do that. Outsourcing. You're basically telling that person to tell you what to do, even though it does not align with you. And the visual that I got for this was like a car. You're a car and you need gas, and you're always asking that person for gas. But this gas comes with a cost. It comes with a price. A price with you having to do whatever they want you to do, even though it doesn't feel right to you, right? And what happens is when you do that, you're relying on someone else to feed you, and you get empty, and what happens? You have to go back and refill. And that person, again, it comes with the cost. It comes with doing something that doesn't feel 100% aligned with you, one way or another. But you're feeding off of that, because even though it doesn't feel aligned for you, it's satisfying something within you, because they're doing something. They're showing you the love afterwards. They're showing you the approval afterwards. Like, oh, you were such a good girl. Here, now you deserve love, right? There's something that they're also doing, or else you wouldn't be in that cycle. You wouldn't be continuously trying to seek their approval and to continue to outsource to them. But you're always going to run out. You're always going to run out of gas, and you're always going to have to refuel. And you're going to be refueling with something that comes with a cost that doesn't feel aligned for you, and that's not your fullest expression. That never feels good. Self-sourcing is when it's like the vision I got for this one is, those little fountains that you can put on your desk, or there's big ones too, but you just fill it up with water, and it's just always flowing, like those little rocks, like it flows down, and it's just almost like resourcing itself. It's self-sourcing. And every now and then, you have to add new water in, but think about that more of like a restoration phase. But it's always like revolving. It doesn't need to ask someone else for energy. It doesn't say, here, you tell me, here, I'm going to give you my power so you can give me this, right? Which was with the gas. No, it's like, I'm good. This water is just calming down. It's super relaxing. That is self-sourcing. That is what it feels like. You're constantly regenerating. Is that a word? That's not a word. Rejuvenating yourself. You're constantly tapping into you. That's what self-sourcing is. Relying on yourself. Fueling your own cup. And not needing someone else to fuel it for you. When you do that, you're always going to be giving away your power, and that always comes with a cost. And let's say this person isn't really necessarily controlling. Let's say this person is like, I'm not sure what the dynamic would be, but it's always like there becomes like a needy attachment to that. And needy women aren't sexy. Needy women aren't hot, right? You want to be hot and sexy and like powerful, and your man to be like, damn, she's got it going on. That woman's powerful. A powerful woman, self-source. Doesn't mean that she feels perfect all the time. Doesn't mean that she doesn't feel sad or she doesn't have moments where she feels like unworthy, unlovable, unlikable, feels powerless, feels, you know, oh man, like life is going fucking hard. It's not that she doesn't feel those things. She does feel those things, but she knows how to heal within herself. And sometimes that requires a divine partner to hold her through that too. But you have to know how to do that within yourself first before, or at least really good, in order to have your partner really support you through that, and you guys can expand even higher through that type of intimacy, because that's true intimacy. You know, when your partner can hold you and be there for you, and without there having to be a cost, without there having to be like, oh great, there's going to be a price to pay, oh great, there's some kind of hidden agenda, like just pure giving and holding of space. That is what's available for you in a divine partner. But you have to be willing to give that and hold your own space for you, because you cannot seek in someone else what you're lacking. And that is what happens. You're seeking something out in someone that you are lacking because you're telling them that they need to fill you with it. It's never going to work like that. If you want safety in a relationship, you have to start feeling safe within yourself. If you want a man to love and adore you, you have to love and adore yourself. If you want to feel enough and you want to feel like you can be fully expressed, like, yes, I'm a divine feminine woman and here I am. You have to do that for yourself. You have to show up for yourself like that all the time, every day. Self-sourcing. There's no codependency there. There's nothing controlling you there. The limiting beliefs come up, past traumas come up, the past ego dreams come up, the toxic man comes up. You're like, let me pause here. Let me check in with my soul. Let me check in with my heart. What's true for me? What is true for me in this moment? When I feel something is controlling me, when I feel like I want to give my power away, when I feel out of control, I tap into my heart. And I ask myself, and I connect with my highest self, and I ask, like, okay, what is really true for me? And just let the answer will come, because you know, whether it's a feeling that you feel in your body, whether it's, you know, spirit coming through and your higher self coming through, and you hear and you auditorily hear it, whether it's you just needed that moment to pause and you're ready and you're receptive, and then it comes through in a dream, it comes through in a book that you're reading, but it, you know, because it lands, it's something that you feel within you. It's not something that you feel in someone else. It's something that you feel within you, within your soul, within your temple. Nobody can tell you what you feel. That would be gaslighting. That would be manipulation. That would be control. No one can tell you what you feel. You know what's true for you. That is self-sourcing. So, okay. All right. So I want to give you some things that you can start doing now so that you can start reclaiming your power, because self-sourcing is a reclamation of your power. So some easy things for you to do is just to sit down at night or in the morning, whenever you like to do your journaling sessions. Maybe you go somewhere that you feel is very sacred to you, like the beach, or like there's a tree, or maybe there's a spot in your house that feels really good. You definitely want to be in a space where you feel like you can have your thoughts for yourself. You don't want to be around someone else that you feel they're like, you know, you can just feel someone's energy, because that's not going to allow you to really just sit there and ask yourself these questions. So I want you to ask yourself, where am I outsourcing love? Where am I seeking someone else to feel love? Where am I seeking worth in someone else or something else? Because for me, my worth was in the marriage, right? And in the kids. If I didn't have that, then I wasn't a woman. How bizarre is that? Maybe for you it's the opposite. Maybe for you it's a career. I want you to go beyond just relationships, because everything is in between. Everything is not in between. It's interconnected. So where am I outsourcing my power? This can be really, if you're having difficult understanding where your power is, then like, where are you having weak boundaries? Because that's where your power is being outsourced. Like, you're just have no boundaries, just walk all over me. Where are you outsourcing your power? Where you're giving away your power? Where you are giving away your worth? Where are you giving away your love? And depending on something else to show you love, to give you love. Where are some limiting beliefs that are holding you, that are controlling you? What are things in your life that are controlling you? Food, money, clothes, appearances, status, you know, career, whatever. Where are they controlling you? Just really sit down and just get radically honest with yourself. Radically honest. And then after you've done that, then you're going to ask yourself, how can I reclaim this and bring this energy back to me? How can I bring all this energy back to me? Back to me. The love, the worth, the power, the boundaries, the, I guess letting go of attachment would probably be like, if you are with like money or food, and things like that. Where can I let go of attachment? Where can I love myself? Where can I feel worthy? I am worthy. I am lovable. I am powerful. I am sovereign. These are some affirmations. If they feel good to you, like if you say them and they just feel good in your heart, keep that and repeat that. If it doesn't feel right yet, if it feels, that doesn't feel right. I don't feel worthy. I don't feel lovable. I don't feel those things. I need a man to tell me. Then you got to do some shadow work. If you're in that vibe, then there's some shadow that it's just energy that needs to be witnessed, seen, and released. If you're like on that boat, I highly recommend doing the Liberated Woman. It is only $111. You get it for life. And the first pillar is shadow liberation. That is like a foundational work that has moved me to where I am now. And I still do that practice when I need it. I wish I would have had that way early. I wish I would have known that when I was like a teenager and like a toddler, especially when I didn't do well in gymnastics, right? Because that's where I seeked a lot of approval. I could have shifted so much energy through that. You need to shift the energy, because that means that right now there is what's taking up space in your consciousness is shadow. So it's like a car that is parked in a parking lot that's like beat up and old and ugly, and it's like, what is this car doing here? Get it the fuck out of here. So I can get like a really nice car to come in. That is kind of how I like to see shadow work. It just kind of moves that energy out of your body so you can be penetrated with your truth, so that the truth can come through. And then all the other ones lead you to that feeling of self-worth and self-love and just like adoring all of who you are. So if you're interested in that, you can send me a DM. I'll also leave it up there. So those are the ways. That's what I'm going to leave you with today. Just those simple things for you to do. Where am I outsourcing? Where am I giving away my power? Where am I giving away all these things that are really something that I should feel like all the time? I should feel worthy, lovable, and powerful. That is your divine right to feel like that. You were born like that. It's just that all these limitations in the world and the parents with their stuff, and then like society with its stuff, and then when I was a kid, I didn't have social media, but mainstream media with their stuff, right? With religion, with all these things that got just put onto us. Like, you were born whole and complete. So it's all about remembering who you are. And this is the first step. Where am I outsourcing? Where am I giving it away? How can I reclaim? What can I do to feel love within me? What can I do to feel worthy within me? Where can I put more boundaries so I can feel solid in who I am, like with your power? Boundary work is a lot about power and just holding that and making decisions from that. Even if the outcome from that decision wasn't like necessarily like, okay, well, that didn't turn out quite as the way that I thought, but you own that and you made that decision for yourself. So I have a little story to share. I wanted to share that earlier, but here's an example of where, when I was coming to the relationship with Ron, where I was still alchemizing this outsourcing. Because even when you find your divine partner, you're not going to be perfect, and he's not perfect and you're not perfect. There's always going to be expansion in the relationship. You're always going to be refining. Okay. Whew. It said it froze for a second. So when me and Ron got together, about our second year, I wanted to look for a business coach. I was like, I really want a business coach and all these things. I really wanted my career and I wanted assistance. I really wanted. I was going online and I had no idea what to do. And at this time, I was still a little outsourcing what to do. Right? I didn't fully trust my decisions. And I talked to him about it. I'm like, and there was this woman, Amanda Bucci, that I really wanted to do. I really wanted to do her program. Like, when I saw that, when she was talking about it, I'm like, oh my God, yes, my whole body would light up. I'm like, I want to do her program. I want to do her program. I want to do her program. And then Ron, being a logical man, he was just like, oh, well, what are her reviews? And just started asking me all these questions. I'm like, but I just really want to do it, So he's like, do your research. So then now I'm here not listening to the way I like to do things. And I'm researching, all these different coaches and making phone calls and doing all these things when I already knew what I wanted. And it's not like that Ron was controlling me. He was just like, I think you should do research. He was just kind of giving me his input. But I took it, because I wasn't fully alchemized in this. I took it as like, if I don't do what he said, not that he'll leave me, but it's almost like I took his advice to heart versus asking myself, like, is this what I really want to do? Or am I just already sold with Amanda Bucci? Like, let me just do it, right? So I did all the things. I ended up hiring somebody else who had a raving review, right? And ended up not being what I thought it was, not getting the results that I wanted. And what happened? I ended up resentful to the coach. It wasn't her fault. And to my man, because I had reached for it, because it wasn't a sovereign choice. If I had made my sovereign decision of going with Amanda Bucci, even if it lended the same results, I wouldn't have been resentful and wouldn't have to do all this alchemizing, because it was my decision and I would take full responsibility for it. But because I didn't make a decision, because I gave my power to someone's way of thinking, which men think way differently than women, and we operate, even if he wasn't a man, like, we all have our own way, which is why it's so important to reconnect with yourself. His way of thinking, things that didn't work out for me. And I've had that experience later on. I hired someone, didn't turn out the way I wanted, but it was, my full body was lighting up. But I learned something. I learned a lot from that. And there was no resentment to him or to anybody else because the energy was squeaky clean. All right. That's what happens when you self-source, when you're sovereign. When you're outsourcing and you're giving your power away, the energy is not squeaky and there's all these intertwined things, and then you're resentful to somebody when they were just giving their honest opinion, but it wasn't for you. You get what I'm saying? So sovereignty is also keeping the energy so tight within yourself and within your relationship, so that you're not putting something on somebody that is not meant to be theirs to begin with. Right? So that's what I have for there. And my one-on-one coaching is open now and available. I'm taking 3 women right now who are really ready to call in their divine partner. Yes, they are. They are the Cairo Dragon earrings. My man got them for me for our 5-year anniversary. He's like, I really want to get you something nice for our 5 years. So I got her earrings, and I'm wearing her the bracelet. This one is the Activate the Sovereign Divinity of All Beings, key code 333. So cool that you noticed. How awesome. So I'm assuming you have the Sophia Code book. I read it all once, and now I'm kind of coming back to it whenever it calls me. Certain ascended masters have been really calling me. The most powerful one that called me was Mother Mary, which I was so surprised about. So I make my own sovereign. Oh, that's so cool. I love that. That's so beautiful. So yeah, my one-on-one coaching is available. I have 3 spaces available. So if you're really interested in calling in your divine partner, and you really, whether you're single or you're in a relationship. So like if you're in a relationship, either that relationship is really going to flourish to where it really is meant to be, as like you two being together in this magical relationship where you both feel so fully expressed and so in your zone and so in love and passionate. Like that is possible. That is 100% available if that's your divine partner. Or if you're seeing, or if not, that relationship will easily I want to say dissolve. I don't know if that's the right word, so that you can create space for that divine partner. Or if you're single and you're like, yes, I'm ready for this. I just know I need to really clear up my own energy so I can be in my full power and my full sovereignty, so to call in that person that can match that same frequency, because that's really what's happening. So if you're into that, if that's what you're looking for, I have the one-on-one coaching available, which is a 4.5 month container. We can talk more about that, or also have one-on-one intensives. This is a 2-hour call that is really just like, it's usually when you're like at a crossroads. It's almost like you just need that person, like if whether it's in your relationship or there's something that you're battling personally that you're calling in to manifest your partner, but there's certain issues that maybe you're finding when you're dating. And you're just like, I know there's just something, I need eyeballs from somebody else to look into this because I'm just a little too close. Again, whether in your relationship or you're single, this one is perfect for you. So if you're interested in that, you can also just shoot me a direct message and we can chat more about that. So that's it for today. I would love to know any of the things that you come up with when you do the homework. And I will let you know. Thank you so much. Lovely to connect with you on this topic. Yes, me too. Lovely to connect. And we're gonna get the next code coming in, and I'll let you know when I'll do that live. And I will see you soon. Mwah! Your sovereign, beautiful woman. Bye.